Welcome to Park Towne Place Museum District Residence. I'm Scott Seeley, General Manager from AIMCO, the owner and operator of Park Towne Place. This is a special place. Situated on Benjamin Franklin Parkway, Park Towne has a long and storied history. Constructed in the 1950s, the complex is listed on the National Registry of Historic Places and is the first mid-century modern multifamily complex in the Commonwealth to achieve this. A few years ago, we remodeled all the apartments and common areas, carefully keeping the historic character-defining features. We rebranded it Park Towne Place Museum District Residence to pay homage to our famous neighbors, Philadelphia's treasured cultural institutions, including the Philadelphia Museum of Art, the Barnes, the Franklin Institute, Moore College of Arts, and several others. Our goal was to weave Park Towne into the fabrics of the Parkway as an art and cultural destination, even in an apartment complex. However, Museum District residents had a big problem. We didn't have any art. So we decided to have a permanent collection and solicit artists from Philadelphia, the Commonwealth, throughout the country, and even the world. Our permanent collection, now of more than 150 pieces, represents established up-and-coming artists and some commissioned pieces as well. We have partnered with InLiquid to offer a robust program of temporary rotating exhibitions, usually changed 3 times a year, artist talks and workshops, and a very popular drink and draw. What started out as an idea to engage our residents became AIMCO and Park Towne's gift to the city, a place where artists and residents alike can come to be inspired and educated while enjoying the creative, ever-changing, and vibrant community.
My name is Leah MacDonald, and I am an artist, photographer, and art educator. Through my investigation with alternative processes in photography, I discovered encaustic painting. This particular show, I've really been pushing myself to become more abstract, and I think for photographers, or for me specifically, that was the challenge. And in a way, I've always wanted my work to blur the lines between real and unreal, and reality and fantasy. Alchemy has always been such an important part of my work. It was the magic I was really interested in, the unknowns, the surprises. And now I'm really interested in positive and negative space, which is sort of what this work is really about, especially these 2 pieces, which are called Have and Have Not. I really wanted to make a piece that wasn't just about the figure, so I cut the figure out. There is this relationship between my photography and my encaustic painting. For a long time, one part of my work was more photographic, and then for a little while it was more encaustic. I feel like now, at this point in my career, like both of my halves are finally fully developed and equal, and so now they can work better together.
My name is Maureen Durdak. I'm a visual artist whose work is very much involved with the current planetary trauma of climate change. My work currently is very much situated within a very deep, old tradition, the very rare metal practice of repoussé, the art of taking sheet metal and creating a 3-dimensional form from 2-dimensional metal. I was very fortunate to have become introduced to this art practice many years ago on a trip to the Himalayan country of Nepal in 2005, and I have carried forward a connection with a very vibrant art community over there and a family of masters with whom I continue to work. The work that I'm doing right now, the subject matter takes its name from global warming, Ardens Mundi, Latin for burning worlds. The Himalayas are the 3rd fastest site of global warming outside of the poles. So the works, in a way, are an homage to an older world, a sleeping world, a very ancient world, and my desire to give new expressive voice and urgency to both these vanishing cultures and vanishing practices, and speak to the endangered nature of the planet. Each one of the works in Ardens Mundi represents one of the faces of planetary climate change. Desico, which is exhibited at InLiquid, speaks to the increased danger of desertification throughout the planet. The second work is a very large triptych called Cantos Helios, which means Song of the Sun. The work is an homage to solar energy, and it represents the three stages of the sun in its diurnal process: dawn, noon, and sunset. Flanking each of these towers or passages of energy on either side are equal passages of asemic writing. The third work is entitled Rudra. Rudra references the earliest form of the god Shiva, the creative destroyer, one of the Hindu trinity. I attempted to achieve not only the true feeling of looking at a void, but I wanted this void at the same time to have a tactile quality, but a very subtle one, and is represented to me of many of the traveling through the Himalayas themselves in terms of the elemental forces of the wind and the sun and the swiftly moving cloudscapes. Just the very sublime energies that grab any traveler as they sojourn through these regions.
My name is Jacqueline Unanue. I am a visual artist, and the works I am exhibiting here is from my series I titled Gaia Mama. Gaia reminds me the concept used by the ecologists during the 70s, and I was part of that movement in my country, in Chile, because my Basque ancestors, I have Basque ancestors too, I have included in my series the concept of Amalur, that represent the Mother Earth for the Basque country. This series represents for me the hope that still is possible to extend our ties and unite as a human kind. My work also represents some kind of message that we have the responsibility in the protection of our endangered planet. So everything in my series is related to the water, the sky, trying to connect with the very profound, very ancient Mother Earth, and also my research in rock art from many years ago in my country, and the very big images on the mountain, the rocks. When I am creating in my current work, these images appear in a very spontaneous and abstract way.
Textile work requires a lot of real estate. I had a very exciting opportunity when I retired, and that was to have this studio. The space allowed me the opportunity to make something big. The kimono type piece was a backdrop for my daughter's wedding. There was a necessity there to build something, to make something that would hold that space. The forest occurred because I let the dye drip. So these drips are occurring, and it was trees. There was just no way I could not see that. My original vision was driving up to visit friends in New Jersey after a snowstorm, and it got warm, and this fog was coming up off all those trees.
I loved colors since I was a little girl. In fact, I even remember I, for the first time, saw a Ramsey and I saw the color. When I look at color, it's almost like I'm taking a vacation somewhere else. You know, the series I have up in Park Towne, I call the tapestry series. I think when you think of the word tapestry, you think of stories, because tapestries are stories, and you know, my paintings are all stories. A lot of shapes and textures working together like a tapestry, a lot of layers, a lot of knowing how to juxtapose paint colors next to each other. And then I have another series, that's my action series, that where I just actually like big strokes, has some marks in it, has layers, but done in a different way. All my paintings are telling a story, but they're all saying basically the same thing. The paintings are just about layers and layers in life and the different marks. And I actually love when people say, that looks like that right there, where a lot of abstract artists get very upset. I love it because you know why? I'm engaging them.
My name is Yerim Lee. I'm from Cheongju, Korea. My parents are both ceramic artists, so I was born with clay and art around me. I came to the United States to pursue my study in art, and after graduate school, I was invited to be a resident at Philadelphia's clay studio. My series Monitor was done in collaboration with the Philadelphia Museum of Art and Clay Studio. In this project, artists chose a piece from the PMA collection and responded to in their own work. The piece I chose was a 19th century Chinese garden stool. I titled my work Monitor because traditional garden stool often featured incised symbols of wealth. My stools play off that iconography, but also reflect a more modern sense of overabundance with dripping glaze and bright colors, especially green, the American color of wealth. This also highlights my continued focus of cross-cultural conversation. In my sculpture, titled Folding In and Cross-Continental Flux, I articulate in clay and glaze a fusing of East and West, of the traditional ways of my culture and the bold experimentation of my adopted home. I don't only work in clay as a medium. I'm also very interested in fibers and weaving. My piece Fibrous was created during the first 4 months of the pandemic, when I was quarantined in my loft apartment and had a large empty physical and temporal space to fill. The fibers are built symbolically on broken picture frames and hand-woven in a time-consuming fashion. It is also a response to jogakbo, Korean patchwork. This was a tradition from Joseon Dynasty. The idea behind the patchwork was symbolic of times of scarcity, when women held the society up by patching together materials for survival. It speaks to the ingenuity and fortitude of women in Korean culture.
Hi, I'm Rachel Zimmerman. I'm the artistic and founding director of InLiquid, which is a visual arts nonprofit based in Philadelphia. I am standing in the North Tower of Park Towne Place in front of the work of Jacqueline Unanu for our exhibit Poised and Forceful, which just opened in late August. This is a beautiful exhibit of 6 women artists, curated by Claire Finan. Now that we're currently in our COVID crisis, it was really important to have something bright and colorful and impactful, but also that was very visible from the parkway, since not as many people are in and out of the towers. The most important part about these exhibits is the fact that we're really connecting Philadelphia artists with a population of 2,000 residents. And in normal times, we would probably bring in about another 500 to 1,000 visitors to see the exhibits. We're showing so many Philadelphia contemporary artists on the parkway. Our hope is when things are back to normal times, there'll be some flow between the museums. And Park Towne, that you could go to the Philadelphia Museum of Art, walk over to Park Towne, see the exhibits, have lunch at the Hadley, walk over to the Barnes, that we're really creating a place for contemporary artists on this mile. We've been working with Park Towne for, I guess, going on 7 years and exhibiting regularly for 5 years. And I think it's a perfect example of how a nonprofit for-profit relationship works. We really do support each other. And InLiquid, with our audience, we have 101,000 people who use the site on a regular basis, unique viewers. We were able to build, a gallery here out of nothing, which I think is pretty impressive. But we couldn't have done it without the support of Park Towne and the belief that art was really important.